Hey there, Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel, where we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our lives forward in the most positive way possible. So before I turned on the cameras, trying to get into your energy, and I just felt anticipation, and kind of like an excited anticipation. And I heard two songs. I heard "It's a Beautiful Morning" and "Changes." But the part of changes I heard was time can change you, but you can't change time. And so I feel like this has been like a very long time to get to this new phase. Like you've been waiting a long time. And you may still have to wait a little bit longer because you can't change time. But I feel like the sun's coming up over the horizon and the new day's coming. So let's see what Spirit wants to talk about. I do want to thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments. You help me grow my channel, and I really appreciate you exchanging energy with me for the energy that I give to creating the videos. When you hit the like button, I feel like you appreciate my time too, and I appreciate that. So I also want to apologize because I can tell based on the time it is right now when I'm recording this video and how long they're taking to upload today, that everybody's video is going to probably be uploaded before I leave for work, except for you. And so yours is going to be a few hours behind everybody else's, and I'm sorry. Sorry. It's the best I could do. This is not what I was feeling, and so I'm confused. Yeah, a little more of that. We have the Devil card. The Devil card is about things, addictions, or temptations, things that we know we shouldn't do, but we enjoy them in the minute and we give into them. And we have the Five of Cups. And so I don't know if you're struggling with an addiction problem. Or if someone you love is doing that. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so all kinds of things that you could be doing, but see, you're going the wrong way down a one-way road in this. But this came out in the reverse, the Five of Cups, and so maybe the healing is happening and you're working your way through the addictions. And I say that because we have this Four of Swords, which is about taking a rest period, but it also came out in the reverse. I don't usually use reversals when I do these readings, but this week they're really kicking in. And so if you look at it as a reversal, it's like, okay, I've been resting, now it's time to get up and get moving. But he also looks like this hangman. See this hangman? He's looking at things from a different point of view. And so maybe you've been looking at life upside down, or you decided to look at it upside down because Spirit is directing you to do that. And I think your fresh new perspective is this. And this is the change. This is you understanding that you are in control of your life. The Queen of Wands is orchestrating her life. She says, you do this, and you need a little more bass over here, a little more string there, a little lower on the percussion. Okay, now bring up the crescendo, and here we go, and fireworks. And so I feel like you're healing and you're working your way through a process. Now, is it an addiction? Like, it could be sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? But it could also be something like maybe you're addicted to an attitude. Like the woe is me attitude, I find is often a problem. And I see this with so much love because I have a Pisces moon. And it gets hard sometimes because you feel like you're the victim. And so being the victim can be addicting too. It was a really, really, really hard thing for me to work through a few decades ago. Oh God, I'm so old. Okay, but it's true. You have to view your life as it doesn't happen to you. You co-create your life. And if you're thinking that everything happens to you and you have a negative attitude and you believe that you are under attack, then that means you don't have any responsibility, and that's not right. You do have responsibility for your life. You are supposed to be in control. You are supposed to be the Queen of Wands. And so I don't know if this Queen of Wands is saying, here is where you're headed, or this is how to manage where you are headed. Because the devil's definitely going down the wrong road. Down the wrong way. Down a one-way road. And so step into your power. Take control of your life. Be large and in charge of your own life. You are the CEO of your life. You co-create with Spirit. You ask Spirit for what you want, and you take baby steps in that direction. Spirit will pick you up and carry you. We're walking the week on Sunday with the moon in Aquarius, which is about not dealing with your emotions. She's looking the other way. See, as the emotions are pouring out of her jug, she's not paying any attention. But by the end of the day, it moves into Pisces, your house of you. And you are going to be swamped by your emotions. You're going to be deep into your emotions. And the question becomes, how do you manage that? Because you can't choose your circumstances all the time in life, but you can always choose your attitude. And so if you decide to be swamped in good emotions and happy memories and good thoughts and positive feelings, then you're stepping into the Queen of Wands there, and you can make this work for you. You're changing your perspective, but you can also drown in your negative emotions if you're not careful. So Pisces, choose positive attitude. Break through the resistance that you always feel. Like it's so hard. I know sometimes when things are so rough and you're like, what do you mean be positive? I say, look around. There's something good in your life, and start physically writing a list, because it makes it easier. When you start adding things to the list every day, things you notice, things like maybe you aren't even aware that you have. Oh, I look good in this color, or I saw the tulips up today, or, the birds this morning woke me up. Find the little small joys, the things that you're grateful for. Start writing them on the list, and your list will grow longer, and you'll realize that you really have an abundant life. And when you recognize that you have abundance, more abundance pours in. When you choose to look at things in the positive, in the affirmative, the more affirmative comes to you. What you think about is what you're going to create. And so if you're thinking about negative aspects, that's why you can't get out of the mire. Is because you keep thinking, when you say things like, oh my gosh, it's always so hard. Well, then it will continue to be hard, because the universe goes, that's what they're creating. Difficulty. We can do that. So instead say, everything is easy for me and I easily manifest whatever I need. And so choosing your attitude always makes a difference. Listen to your inner knowing. Listen to your higher self. Connect with your spirit guides. Do the research if you need to do the research on something. It's okay. This is about long distance travel. This is about higher learning, higher knowledge, research. Do what you need to do to help you to see the light, the bright, the different perspective. Let go of the negative. This full moon that we just had was supposed to be a long letting go after coming out of that Mercury in retrograde in your sign, where you're stirring up all the sludgy, messy stuff from your past. And now is a great time to cut it loose, because at the end of the week we get that new moon. And when we get that new moon, it is in your it's in your third house of communication. And so, how you communicate, you can totally change the way you communicate with yourself, with the people around you, with spirit. When you change the words that you use, you change the atmosphere you live in. And so use this new moon coming up as an opportunity to really focus on positive, affirmative communication that comes out of your mouth. And when you start having a negative thought, you send it on down the road, just erase it, wave it away. Don't let it happen. Oh, step out of your comfort zone. You are being so challenged to make a major change here. You really are. You're being challenged to stop resting. See things from a different perspective and start taking control of your life. Taking control of your life. You control your life. Your life doesn't control you. You create your life. Life isn't happening to you. You happen to life. And if you can do this, if you can release the negative aspects, what comes next is peace. You're being challenged. I can feel it. There's such the resistance, and you're resisting what I'm saying right now. You're like, you don't understand. It's just really hard. I do understand. I mean, I understand the particulars of your situation. I may not understand the particulars of your situation, Pisces, but I have literally been on the floor, in the bathroom, sobbing for hours. I've been there. We had no money, no food in the house. We didn't have any money for fuel, for heat. I've been there. Like, I know how bad it can get, and I had 3 kids to take care of. None of them were even in high school yet. The youngest one was still in elementary. I've been there, Pisces, and it's hard. And what I did was, all of a sudden it occurred to me that my kids didn't deserve a crazy mom. That's what I told myself. And I picked myself up off the floor, and I went and I got a package of index cards, and I started writing. I am financially successful. I am a good mother. I am a good listener. I am able to provide for my family. I am. And there were about 34 statements, because it was like 17 cards front and back. And then I put them in the room that I spend a lot of time. I actually put them in the bathroom, because I go there 3 or 4 times a day. Right? And so then I read them every time I went in there. And I read them over and over. I read them first thing in the morning, right before I went to bed. Anytime I was in there during the day, I read those cards. It took me about 3 years. I made some major changes in my life. My life dramatically changed. I am. And recently I've encountered another issue in my life where I was like hitting the brick wall, and I'm like, oh my God, go back to the cards. So I wrote a bunch of I am statements, and almost immediately I felt the shift in but I'm more aware of energy now than I was back then. But almost immediately, within a day or two, I started to feel the shift. Like it's working. So get some index cards, do the I am statements. You could do this. It is not easy. It is stepping way the heck out of your comfort zone. It is a lot easier to be upset. It's a lot easier to think that everybody's coming after you. But you actually have the ability to be in total control here. You need to take control of your life. You need to get into the flow. You need to get into the flow. If you make some effort, if you just write down your I am statements and you start saying them, that's an action. That's an actual action you can take. And the universe goes, okay, they mean this. Let's help. And then things start getting easier, and the cycle shifts. So you have flow and cycles. So get in the flow. Allow the wheel to turn in your favor. You can manipulate the wheel because you are the magician of your own life. You are a co-creator with spirit. You have all the tools you need. And what you don't need, you ask Spirit to help you find. Like, I'm going to need this. And then it shows up in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. So much better than you thought. So Pisces, do what you need to do, but start with the cards. Start with writing them. Okay, here we go. It says do the work. Do the work and organize for success. So get yourself, if you don't have index cards, get a scrap of paper. I don't care what you write on. Write down your I am statements. I am this, I am that. Create the most positive attitude that you can. And you know what else? Start saying grace. If you don't say grace, start saying grace. Because then when you start showing the universe gratitude for even the smallest things, like the glass of water you're drinking that is good, clean drinking water, which not even everybody in the United States has, right? So be grateful for what you have. And the more that you are grateful and the more you are positive, then you change the whole energy around you and you attract in the good stuff. You've been working hard, Pisces. You've had that retrograde was really tough and it stirred a lot of things up. And I think that you thought that everything was going to be immediately better, but I think that maybe you're feeling a little let down, but it can't be immediately better without some effort on your part. Okay, so you've identified the problems through retrograde. Now you got to take some action. You take baby steps, and Spirit will reach out and they will help you. Okay, so you have Broken Arrow. Embrace the energy of peace. Snake, shed the old skin. That's shedding that negative attitude. And then you have be graceful in movement and action. Be graceful. When you're shedding the skin, be kind, be gentle to yourself. Do things for you. Take that walk in nature. Get your hands into the garden. Get yourself grounded, change out your energy, and start keeping that joy journal where you notice things, anything that's good, and write it down. And look it over and go, wow, there's so much good, abundance of good in my life. What is it? The embarrassment of riches, right? There's so much that is really good, but you need to look for it. You need to identify it. You need to see it. Don't wallow in the negative. It just sucks you down. Okay. I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else coming from Spirit. So be the CEO of your life. Be the orchestrator of your life. Be large and in charge in your life. Take control of your life. Run your life. Change your attitude. Take control. So do the work and organize for success. Everything's in a cycle. You're on the upswing. It's coming around and coming up. Give it a little push. Give it a little push. You can do it with your words. You can do it with your words. Allow flow and synchronicity into your life. Again, with the flow. Okay? So don't block it with your negative attitude. Encourage it and welcome it in. I am a manifester of miracles. I allow the universe to bring the abundance of riches to me. There's so many I am statements you can come up with. You find something that sounds good to you, that resonates for you, and you use them. You are the co-creator of your life. Create a good one. All right? I will see you back here for that new moon. I really, really hope that you take my advice on this. It totally changed my life. I can't. Someday I'll write a book and explain it all. It totally changed my life. So you guys take care, and I will talk to you soon. Be good to yourself, Pisces.